Hello, welcome to episode 6 of the Freelancing Legacy Podcast, video podcast. This is your host, Demi, and this is the second to last episode of this podcast. I am very sad that we are coming to an end, but thou shalt not worry because I will be producing videos continuously on YouTube, but I'm not sure if I will be talking about freelancing anymore. That's why I'm pouring my heart and soul in these episodes because I want to make sure that this is the last time that I'll be talking about freelancing, or at least like if I can talk about it a little bit, or if I need to go live to talk about freelancing a little bit, I'm okay with it. But I think that I really want to step back into the freelancing industry and talk about something else because I've been talking about it for how long now? 3 years? So it would be nice if I can jump into a different topic. But yeah, I'm excited, sad at the same time that we are coming to an end. And ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know yet, we are opening Raz Academy the last time for batch Lambert on November 30th to December 2. It's a very short open cart, or it's a very short enrollment period because we want to start the New Year's right, and I'm not going to be here in the Philippines in December. I'll be celebrating my birthday somewhere else together with my babu. And we will be having a good time, so I don't think that I want to stress myself out with, launches and whatever. So there's that. November 30 to December 2, batch Lambert. It's still going to be around 11,000 for the entire course on a lifetime access, and we have a lot of freebies for you guys. For example, 100 image templates and video templates from Dip Your Brush on a specific template called Blue Yonder. Blue Yonder is one of the templates that we have in DYB that is composed of a lot of blues, right? But even though it's composed of a lot of blues, you can actually change the colors to something else. So that's the good thing about it. Okay, so let's talk about the 6th episode of this podcast, and that is, what does marketing really require? So when you are already a freelancer, you want to close deals, you want to make sure that you're hitting your premium client, what does marketing really require? Right? So we think that, when it comes to marketing, we actually need to be this person that understands social media algorithms on Facebook ads in a completely different manner, and make sure that, we hit the right spot so that we can get clients, or we can talk to clients in a certain way if we're doing cold messaging so that we can hit them and they become our prospects, turn prospects into paying clients and whatever that is. But I think there's a lot more that marketing really entails. There are so many people, especially my students, that come to me and say that I don't really know how to market myself. And that question puzzles me a lot because in module 4, it's all about marketing. So in Raz Academy, we talk about marketing quite a bit ever since basically the entire course is about marketing, and we start off from knowing yourself, becoming this person that I would suggest you become to become a better freelancer for your clients, towards having experience filing things for your portfolio, choosing a skill, all these things. But specifically, we're talking about marketing. It's in module 4. And then 5 and 6 is basically closing deals and other things that you need to do in order to become a highly paid freelancer. So I'm a little puzzled when people say hey, Miss Demi, I enrolled in CRA, I still don't know how to market myself. And to me, logically speaking, it would be very easy for me to say hey, you should probably just go check module 4 because, I wrote it in a way where the curriculum is very understandable. It's a step-by-step process, all these things. And they're okay, Miss Demi, I'll do that. And I do not hear from them since. And so I'm trying to think, what is exactly the problem? Is it the modules? Because, I'm also trying to check if, before I blame other people, before I look outward, I always check on myself. Like, did I do enough? Did I make sure that the modules are good? And so and so. And when I looked into myself, it was like, okay, like I might have done a good job at the very least, or a very, it's an enough job at the very least to make sure that everyone is following instructions and that they can apply that very easily, make the videos short whatsoever. And it was a very technical curriculum. Like, it's a very step-by-step curriculum. So I'm not sure that it's the module itself. What I'm thinking is that it's the student, and this is not to offend my students who haven't gotten their success yet, but it was more of like a self-esteem issue. So I believe that when you are going out there to market your services or whatever that is, when you are becoming a freelancer, it's more of like a self-esteem vehicle, I would say. It's a self-esteem vehicle because if you are not confident enough, you wouldn't be able to market yourself properly. You would always feel inauthentic. You would always feel like you're not good enough when you're talking to clients. You always get anxious because you don't have that confidence in yourself that you can actually do it. We talked about self-esteem in the previous episode, and I talked about how you can find the sweet spot, because if you're too insecure, then you're not going to be able to take action. And if you're too boastful, then you're going to start exploiting other people and like just be this dumbass freelancer that don't care about the world. So I asked if you can find the sweet spot in self-esteem. So if you haven't listened to that yet, go to the previous episode and then come back when you are done. So if you're still here, well, you must have already listened to it. That's nice of you. Yeah, when it comes to self-esteem, it's just about familiarity. I would always say that time and time again. And my metaphor for that is when I started doing public speaking in front of people, I was 14, around that time, 14, 15, or 16, that I started doing public speaking. And at first, I could remember the feeling that I was so anxious. And I told myself, if I'm not going to be able to pull this off, this would be like really embarrassing. Because firstly, my teacher pulled me out of my class because she believed in me. She believed that I can deliver a speech and I can go out there, represent our school, and win. And so I was thinking about that in my head, and I was like, how am I going to be able to pull this off? I just barely stepped into the speech world, or the oratorical speech world, if you will, and I don't think I have the guts for it. And that was a time when I was not really familiar of the entire thing. And so, of course, you could expect that I lost. I lost in my very first competition. And then I keep on training and training and training. And my trainings were actually super ridiculously funny, because it's either I would perform in front of my crush that then later became my boyfriend, or I would perform in front of other people in the canteen. Like, really, people are like buying mango shakes and junk food and hot dogs and whatever. And I was like there in front of them, talking and performing this speech. It's funny. It's very funny. And I keep on doing that. I kept on doing that and doing it all over again, until I reached the point when I was so surprised that one time when I really won a competition for the first time in forever, that I did not feel any nervousness. I was so shocked, because every time I stand in front of a crowd, I always look at my skirt. I don't know what the name of the fabric was, but it's this stiff fabric for skirts, like plaid. And I would always look at the skirt, like I would look at it from a hindsight and look at the tip of my skirt. If it's shaking, that means I'm nervous. Because sometimes I don't even notice that I'm already shaking, and like my body is like shaking or whatever, and it might look funny. So I'm just looking at my skirt from the hindsight, and I'm thinking, okay, like I'm currently nervous if I see the skirt shaking. At that time when I won the competition, I was so surprised, because I was doing that again from hindsight. And I'm looking at my skirt and I was like, there's no shaking. Like I'm also trying to feel. I put one hand on my heart, and I was saying, am I nervous? Because like I'm trying to feel my heartbeat, if it's fast or whatever. But I just casually sat there, and I did not feel nervousness at all. And if anything, I felt like I was so powerful, and I can just, crush all the other schools and like win this competition. That's how I felt. And I won second place, because from the first experience going to the very first time that I won a competition, I actually had a lot of practice that came along with it. I had it with a lot of people. I had it in front of the canteen, in front of my crush, whatever. It's familiarity, right? Same thing that happened to me in terms of diving. This one is a very fresh, recent story. So when I started diving for the first time, I almost died, okay? And I did not know. I did not know that I almost died. I was with a dive master. This person actually guides us to go to these dive spots and, swim and dive and whatever. And I panicked because I don't really like the feeling of having water in my nose, because I feel like at any point I could drown. That is one of the fears that I have. So I don't want to be able to swallow even like a tiny bit of water. There's no way. I'm not gonna do it, okay? So yeah, I'm very scared of clearing my mask. So there's a skill in diving where you can actually clear your mask. So if there's water inside your mask, you can just push a little, blow through your nose, and that's what's going to clear your mask. That's one of the skill that we have to learn. And I'm so scared to do that because I feel like every time I blow, there's water that's going to go in. Okay, what if I do it the wrong way? There's just going to be more water in my mask, and I'm not going to be able to see, and I'm going to drown. And that's exactly what happened. I had that in my head. And one rule in diving is that you shouldn't really hold your breath when you're ascending, right? So never hold your breath, especially when ascending, because your lungs is actually expanding at that time, trying to expand. Just the same way a balloon, like you put it in the deep waters and then you try to ascend it, because of the pressure, it will start to expand. So if you're going to hold your breath, your lungs is not going to have that space for expansion. It's going to explode, right? So that's what we call lung rupture. I'm not sure exactly if I explained that well. Disclaimer, okay? But yeah, I held my breath during ascent, and I almost died. And ever since then, I told myself, there's no way I'm gonna go back diving. But I don't know what the hell happened. I guess I just challenged myself to become a completely different person and go out of my comfort zone. And I told myself that I want to see more of what's underwater. So 3 weeks later, I enrolled to one of the diving classes. And ever since then, I have been diving. I don't feel nervous anymore. There's no shaking. I remember when I was a new diver, so when I started going to school for diving, I remember driving to the dive resort and just thinking, another day, another dive, another chance to die. Like literally that's what's inside my head. And now, gosh, you wouldn't even imagine. I don't want to be boastful or whatever, but like the fact that I hate waiting for my scuba dive mates to jump from the boat, because there are instances that are like that, right? Where you jump from the boat and then you wait for your dive mates to all jump, and then you you descend all together. And sometimes I'm thinking what is taking them all so long? Like, why are they taking so much time preparing their gear and whatsoever? Why can't we just all jump? Like, let's go. Like, I'm already bored here at the boat. Let's go. A lot of them, or some of them, are taking a while to get ready, which I do understand because there's a lot of things that are actually happening in our gears and our equipment. But I'm so impatient that I'm just like, oh my God, like, let's go already. Let's jump. Let's go. Because I'm bored. But I wasn't like that before. Before, giant strides, or the method of you jumping from the boat to the dive site going down is actually extremely nerve-wracking for me. Like, I feel like if I'm going to jump, I'm gonna drown any minute. so that's why I hated giant strides. But now I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, and like it's this thing that I would want to do time and time again. So what am I trying to get through this? It's more of like confidence. Confidence equals familiarity. So the more you dive, the more you speak in front of people, the more you try to do what you think is actually very scary, it's what's going to make you feel comfortable. And what does this have to do with marketing? Dude, what I am just saying is that maybe you can try to do more of your skill. You can try to improve your skill to the best of your ability. Do it consistently over and over and over and over again until in those hours of you being able to spend that kind of time with your skill, then what we call dating the skill, there will be a point in time where you're just like, wow, I did that. And that's what's going to increase your self-esteem. But then again, always remember that there's a sweet spot in self-esteem, okay? If you come a point in time where you have dated your skill and you have realized that there's actually a lot of good things in you, please make sure that you also don't put that in your head. You don't think about that a lot. You're gonna have to think about it in a way where there's people that are still greater than me, and there are people that are lesser than me. And it's all one and the same. There's equal amount of people that are greater than me. There's equal amount of people that are lesser than me. And I'm just here, coasting, living my life to the fullest because I want to get the life that I have dreamed of. I'm just here familiarizing my skill, becoming more confident about it every single freaking day because I'm thinking about the life that I want to live. And yeah, that's it. And hopefully, I hope that if you wish to enroll in Create Raz Academy in its upcoming enrollment, it's also going to help you become more comfortable, become more confident, because there's a step-by-step process already laid out for you. There's a roadmap that's already there. And so it's going to just only add to your confidence. Okay? Alrighty. Thank you so much for listening to my stories. Till the next episode.